Hi, this is a video for Squiminy Squoo, who is someone who had asked me a question on YouTube, and it was basically, how do I prepare for the hymns? Am I able to read right away? So one of the things I do, I have a few hymn books. I have the one that our church currently uses, which is Celebration Hymnal, and sometimes I'll pick something out of that might be, if it's if it's copyrighted still, I look to see if there's an original version, like on hymnary.org, to see if there's an uncopyrighted version, and then I'll revert back to the uncopyrighted version so that I'm not violating any copyrights or anything like that. My husband also has this hymnal. This was the one that I inherited when I married him. This is the Sacred Selections for the church. It's the Church of Christ hymnal, because he was raised Church of Christ, so that was the hymnal that they had. When he was a kid, they got new hymnals, and everybody got to take old hymnals home. They're in shape notes. You get a lot of, I don't know if you can see, the notes are different shapes on different notes. So that's something kind of interesting and older. It gives you an idea if you're taught how to sing according to within a key instead of a specific note. Like, you don't say this is a C or whatever. You just know that here is do, and then like do, re, mi, and then you just pick what your note is. And if you're trained that way, that makes it so you don't really need a piano. I'm not trained that way. I can kind of get some of the songs and figure out what they are that way. But I don't really have that training. More than anything, if it's something easy, like a jump from like a C to a G, I can recognize that and be like, and then, oh yeah, that's what that jump is. And sometimes that helps me figure out where a song is going, so that if it's a tune that I already know, I can recognize it. I don't have like a piano inside my head that I'm able to just see a note and recognize it. I don't have perfect pitch. I don't have anything like that. I just took piano lessons as a kid, so I'm like an advanced beginner. Then my parents' hymnal is this one, and same thing with the celebration. If there's something copyrighted in it that I want to do, I just look and see if there's an earlier version. A lot of times they take older songs and they rewrite the words to make them more modern and maybe more understandable. And so I just go back to the earlier versions that are not copyrighted, or a certain arrangement is copyrighted. And maybe when I play the tune, I go, that doesn't sound like how I know it. And so then I'm going back, I might sing it the way that I learned it growing up instead of the way it's written in the hymnal, but it just gives me like a guide. So it's not going to be exact the way it is in the hymnal. One of the things I just recorded tonight, I recorded Beautiful Isle. So that was right here, and I didn't know it already. But this is how I go about. I just kind of turn a couple more pages. I know unless it's one of the old and famous ones, I'm not going to know anything in this hymnal. I didn't grow up with it. It's not familiar to me. And, so a lot of the ones in here are good for me to pick up and get something that isn't in my original list of 150 songs that I know. So let's see, there's this one called Wonderful City. So that's what I do. I basically just kind of turn a couple pages, go, have we sung that one? Have we sung that one? No, I don't think we have. So let's see what this one does. And I look and I see, okay, it's just got one sharp, and that's F sharp. So that makes this the key of G. And if you don't know how to find your key, you just look at your key signature, and whatever your last sharp is, you go one note up, and that tells you, so this is F sharp, which means one note up from F is G. So that's the key of G. That doesn't matter until I transpose it, because I don't have a fancy keyboard. I have a little keyboard up here. It's actually my oldest daughter's. I don't have a piano in the house. And so this keyboard is what I am just using right now, and it does not transpose as far as I know. I don't have any way to transpose with it. All the transposition is happening in here. So if I want to transpose down two notes, I go, okay, well, that's the key of G. So if I go down two notes from a G, then I want E. So that would be like the key of E. Side note, the key of E is a terrible, terrible key. That's like everything sharped and flatted, and then also like C is sharped or flatted, I mean, and so, or something like, I can't remember if it's sharps or flats, but it's like 5 of them. It's like, it's where the circle of fifths finally crosses over, and not only have you flatted and or sharped everything you can, you've also flatted and sharped the one thing that has, like, you've either done a B sharp or a C flat. And so it's just like, no, nobody wants that. So I wouldn't go into the key of E, but you know what? E flat's good enough. That's pretty close to E. And what that does is that just takes me down 2 notes so that I can sing it, because I'm an alto, I'm not a soprano. So we established what key we're in, what key we're probably going to go to if I can't sing it. It just kind of depends on how high it's written. Some of these old Church of Christ ones, they're like really low, then really high, and then you have to just get creative. But this one, I've never seen it before. I just grabbed it a few minutes ago. And so this is, it's in 3/4 timing. So I'm just going to play it as written, one hand. And that's, or sort of as written, let's see. 1, 2, 1 and 2 and 3 and, okay. So when it's 3/4, there's a lot of eighth notes and dotted eighths. So it's going to be like 1 and 2 and 3 and. So you kind of treat it like it's 6/8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, except I just count it 1 and 2 and 3 and. So it's going to be, let's see. I don't know if you can hear that well enough. Let me turn it up. 1 and 2. I already think I messed that up. 1 and 2 over the river. So it's over the river, over the river. There is a city I know. Whoops. No. Wonderful story. Mansions of glory, waiting for pilgrims below. So that's actually not too bad. I don't actually have to transpose that down to be able to sing it. I've never sung that before, so that was my first time. And then there's a chorus, but the chorus gets too high for me, so it's like, wonderful city, beautiful city, built without hands by our King, marvelous city. Whoops, city. That's, yeah, it's way up there for me. Glorious city, where we forever shall sing. So that's Wonderful City. But I will probably transpose it down to the key of E flat, which would be, you just follow, it's B-E-A-D. So you want E to be the second to the last flat. So B-E-A. So that's what you're going to have. You're going to have B-E-A flat. And then I just slide down 2 notes. So then you would have, over the river, shining forever. There is a city I know, wonderful story, mansions of glory, waiting for pilgrims below. So then now it's going to be more in my range so I can have a prayer of getting up. It's still going to be on my crack because that E that's like way up there is still going to be is going to be a C, but at least I can hit that a little bit. Anyway, that's the process, Squimini Squoo. I hope that answered your questions.